the chicken's alive. Showed up and the chicken's alive.
I just don't understand. Like, take your freaky ass over to Ul'dah, man. All right, nerds, the queue has popped. Welcome back to another episode of the Light Party Podcast. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate that in America. And I appreciate you guys being patient as we took our first of two holiday breaks. We'll take another short break during the end of the year because, you know, we all want to spend time with families and stuff like that. But don't worry, we'll be back soon and all the calendar stuff, so keep it locked to the social. But enough of that. We are here once again with the rest of the Light Party, sitting in the back shooting with his small gun. It's Mike.
I got a gun.
Whoa. Relax.
Nah.
What do you have? A knife.
A knife! No!
A slightly better flamethrower now.
Speaking of someone who has a knife, but it's not really a knife, it's more like a long, like, pole with a knife at the end of it. It's Virum.
I lost 2 Nastrons, bros. Where did they go?
No.
They're gone forever.
No.
But it's okay. Because now, when I do the funny backflip, my throwing lance gets better.
Ooh.
Yo, that's broken. And speaking of someone who plays a class that, because Mike and I played the Alliance raid, and we played the new dungeon today, and Black Mage can't play in that dungeon. It's my boy Warchamp 7, the most OSK shot caller of all time. What's good, Warchamp?
I'm doing well, but I'm a little concerned now because
Yeah, you won't be able to play those. You won't be able to play.
I
Yeah,
haven't got to the Alliance raid yet.
yeah, you won't be able to.
on.
You won't be able to. You won't be able to do. I hope you don't like. Hope you like
Yeah.
casting Scathe, man.
Oh no! Why?
True.
What's going on in there?
Same with that
I don't
dungeon,
like
man.
moving, bro.
Borealis.
It's just not for you, man.
Hope you don't like standing still.
I hope you like casting Scathe, man.
I love standing still. Why? Oh no!
No, you're not allowed to anymore, apparently.
Oh no!
It's like they made fights, right? And they forgot that Black Mage was in the game. Like, actually.
Only way they fix you is if your ley lines are a raid wide now.
Ow.
Don't give them ideas.
A raid-wide ley lines?
Yeah.
Not
he's allowed to
raid
move-
lines.
Yeah, raid
Super
lines.
arcane circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming soon to Black Mage players in the next expansion. The entire arena is a ley line.
I mean, I'm on board
Are you?
a little bit.
I respect it, you know. But we are talking about here patch 7.1. We might talk about some other stuff because we're at varying degrees of playing it. I believe Virum, because Mike and I have played the dungeon and the AR. I believe you have as well.
Indeed, I have.
That's all cool and all, but fuck all of that, Mike. There's one thing we want to talk about. Yes, sir. Tell him.
Yeah. I don't know. I got
No,
lost.
Mike, come on,
Where
Mike.
we
Come on.
at?
What's the best part about the patch, man?
The house.
Fuck all that.
Oh shit.
God damn it. He was the most excited for it, and now he doesn't even care.
It's gone, man.
It's the fact that I was able to level 90 to 100 in less than 2 days. That shit was
The
broken.
Beast Tribe, bro. The tribal quest. The
Pelus.
All right, man. You put me on the
The
spot.
Pelus are busted.
Pelus are busted.
The Pelus are busted. I was able to level Bard, I think. No. It was Dancer from 90 to 100 in 2.5 days.
That was like me with Paladin. I did pretty much the same.
Like, it's crazy. They're broken. And also, I called it on the mount, by the way. The mount's definitely that whatever the fucking the manatee.
Manatee.
Yeah.
Flying manatee.
What? And didn't you tell me the reason why it flies?
Yes. So in the tribal quests, like the level up quest right before you get access to the manatee, the birds pray to their god, and it goes, "Oh, okay," and just says the manatees can fly now.
Good for them.
Yeah,
That's really cute.
it's kind of how it goes.
But yeah, these Pelipos are really fucking good, man. They basically make, and this might be a hot take, but I found like if you take the totality of 80 to 100, I think it's as easy to get through as 1 to 50.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you can just fly through levels.
Because 80 to 90, you do dailies plus elephants. Then 90 to 100, you do elephants and Pelu Pelu and dailies.
Yeah.
And you're just
Well,
like,
even in the 80 to 90 bracket, you still have the fairies too, right? So you're
yeah, I mean, I
doing.
guess.
I mean, that's fine. It's still an extra mill.
That's true. I don't do them. I probably should.
Yeah. So you get from the 80 to 90 bracket, you're getting 4 mil a day before dailies, which is great. And now, if you want to throw fairies in the 90 to 100, you're getting 10 mil a day before dailies.
10 mil a day?
Yeah.
It's
Which,
broken.
that's a lot. That's a ton.
Before dailies.
4 days.
Also, I want everyone to know that my ninja is like halfway is like mostly to 91. I still have yet to play it.
It's
Hell
me
yeah.
with Viper. My Viper's on 93. I've not touched that job ever.
Let's go.
That's
I don't know what it does.
Let's go.
It
just
just
follows the
presses
ants.
glowing procs.
Yes. Follow the ants.
I
Look for
literally
ants.
I literally thought about playing. I was like, maybe I'll try ninja. And we were playing main scenario, and Mike was leveling his ninja, and he LB3'd Gaius in the big thing, in Ultima. And then I saw the LB and I said, I'm good, never mind. That LB lame as hell.
Got to judge it off the LBs, man.
I do. But yeah, let's talk about it. The I kind of want to start specifically, I guess, without spoiling. I just kind of want to talk about the dungeon. Warchamp, I know you haven't played it. I'll avoid story, but do you care about mechanically?
No, like, even story, that's fine. Like,
Oh, okay, yeah,
let's
because
get into
I
it.
think the story is kind of nothing anyway.
I just haven't had time. Like, I'm not pressed.
Okay, yeah. I think that last boss of that dungeon is one of the more interesting bosses I've seen in any dungeon. Mechanically.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
The rabbit thing that's not Aaronville's mom. Even though they put braids on it, very weird. The way that it takes out the center of the arena, I think is really fucking cool. Because basically, and what does it? When does it start? That like at 45? Like it starts at like halfway through, right?
Yeah. So it goes through like its first 2 or 3 major attacks, and then that's when it takes out the center of the arena. So like anywhere between 50 to 60%, realistically.
I think it's dope. That whole dungeon, though, other than that, like the thing about that dungeon is weird. The bosses are cool. I think all the bosses are dope, but I actually think the rest of the dungeon's kind of ass.
I
It's
I
not.
am not a fan of the popping.
It's not great in terms of like atmosphere, for instance.
No, the atmosphere is kind of dog shit. It's just like, oh, cool, everything's electric, and then the actual like mobbing, like the actual pulls are kind of dog shit too. Like they're not fun.
The pulls aren't great. I like the spooky lab vibe, though. I think that's kind of neat. But yeah, I don't like the pulls on it either. It's weird, especially after the second boss. Those get like really tiny and forcibly cut off. It's not great.
Do you think it's weird, or is it a hot take to say that the other mad scientist boss is better?
Uh, like the one that just steals your soul.
Yeah,
Sings you. I like him a lot more.
I like
Oh
that
yeah,
guy.
he's sick.
He's sick. What dungeon is that in?
Uh,
Is that a
I
Doma
want to say
Castle?
it's a Stormblood one.
it's Alamigo. I think it's Alamigo.
Alamigo?
Initiate soul extraction.
That shit is fire to me. But yeah, that's cool. But the dungeon, I would. What would you give the dungeon out of 10, Mike? We've run it a few times now.
Um. Oh, see, that's kind of tough because like we touch all the good things here, right? The bosses kind of carry, and I think because the bosses carry so hard, It's like a solid 6, I
Virum?
think.
I'd give it a 7, but I value good bosses a lot in dungeons.
I'm a tank player, so I also give it a 7 for the same reason.
I like it for its bosses, but I think it gets a demerit because the bosses are so good, because it has to carry so hard. Their backs are hurt.
That's the only good part about that dungeon is the bosses. Now, one would argue if something is going to be good, it better be the bosses in a dungeon.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that can't be the only
But
thing.
that can be the only thing, right? Like that's kind of crazy to me.
Or the pulls have to be really good.
Yes.
Because there are a few dungeons that have really fun pulls. Really fun wall to walls. But
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one. I mean, other than Stone Vigil, hard.
Mount Golg wall to wall.
Mount Golg, yeah.
Go crazy.
What's the one where people don't pull wall to wall because there's cowards, but at the end, if you pull wall to wall, there's those guys channeling those things. Isn't it the dungeon where a long fall plays?
Oh, the twinning?
Yeah, is it the twinning where there was those the guys at the end are chart channeling these things that spawn ads, and it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that pull is fun.
you know what pull I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I think it's twinning.
It's twinning, right? Okay.
That's the brave pull.
Yes,
Where, like
if-
you're probably popping in invuln, and your healer better know what their buttons do.
It's the lock eyes with your healer. We're in this together, brother. Like,
We're going.
but yeah,
I've
that
only
pulls
ever
really
had that dungeon once. It's never ever come up for me on roulettes. The only time I've run it literally was when I first did it.
Yeah, same here. Yes. I've never gotten the twinning on a roulette.
unfortunate. But you know what dungeon you probably will also not get in a roulette because it's brand new and it's not a dungeon. Is the
Do you know the first walk?
the first walk? Who wants to talk about this first?
Wait
Uh,
for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Oh God, 4? Uh-oh. Where's this going?
The fourth. I was telling Mike that so for you, War Champ, I don't know if they do this in another standard alliance raid, but they finally did one that I can remember of the cue to figure out what you have to do is the audio cue. Is how many
Ooh.
times she says a thing.
That's fun.
Well,
So-
it's a combination of a visual and audio because
Yes.
her hand like glows a certain color and it changes each time she says "wait for it."
Oh, I never.
But the
I never
audio
looked
cue
at
is the most obvious one.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the part about her hand. I don't even look at her shit. Like
I didn't either.
So she'll do like a thing, she'll do an AoE that is levels of degrees of like out, depending on how many times she says wait for it. And she will also do she does the same thing, the same mechanic where she depending the distance is determined how many times she says wait for it. She does the uppercut from M1,
The black cat.
the black cat uppercut, and then there are spikes on the ground. She summons spikes, and there are not spikes in the whole arena. There are spikes in most of the arena, and how many times she says it tells you how far you have to get knocked back because everybody gets knocked back. So you have to like kind of hear it and everything.
That's pretty great.
And it doesn't like outright tell you. So like on the uppercut, it gives you 3 bars of like, hey, this is where you're gonna land. And you have to you gotta line it up with how many times she says it. And that's very fun. Oh no. Let's see. We got the second boss of that one, which is just dragon. I like the dragon boss. Um he's just cool. He's just a cool boss. He does cool things. Very deceptive.
The there's that one quite busy mechanic that it does where like you've got to avoid multiple things as it's moving around. Well, it's not moving around. It goes to the wall and you have to avoid multiple like tornadoes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
I like-
involved mechanic.
I like the effect of its ring of fire attack, and then like it starts charging up another one, and then the fire starts to dissipate, and you're like, "Hey, run over here, or you're gonna die!" Like you you better get over here quick.
Yep.
Um, I I think that boss is just pretty neat, just in general. Like
Mm.
nothing bad about it, but nothing like crazy. Um, Now the next one, the one after that,
That boss is crazy.
the party versus party fight, where you have 5 guys and they're not making burgers. They're here to kill you.
They made an ad phase boss, basically. That's like cool as fuck.
It's so like the fight starts and
I
each
feel like
alliance gets divided into
they
fighting one.
they tried to do that with the Fallen Court of Troya.
And they failed miserably, but this time they
Well, hold
succeeded.
on. I don't think they failed miserably. I think they
No,
did. I think they
completely miserably.
no. That was an okay attempt
No, it was not. It
compared
was
to like other
horrible.
ad shit in the game.
No, it was horrible. It does nothing.
They
Man,
found a fight.
I'm a vocal Fell Court of Troya hater though. We'll get to that when we start doing the Endwalker dungeon tier lists, but
I gotta I gotta run that dungeon again. I don't even remember this.
that whole dungeon is like multi-target,
Oh,
which I think part of the problem is also that just multi-target rotations suck. They're not very interesting. My favorite though is Black Mage. I like you guys don't play Black Mage, so you guys probably don't know this. But every job in the game has
Oh,
has
I play
their
Black Mage.
they've got their AoE rotation, which is like 3 abilities. If we're being generous on some classes. Uh, Black Mage has High Fire 2 and High Blizzard 2. The optimal Black Mage rotation does not use them at all, ever. Like it's not like, oh yeah, like opener and then like there's more optimal stuff. You not at all. You do not touch them. It is a DPS loss on multi-target to use Black Mage's multi-target tools.
that's really
nice.
What a good class.
It's so funny.
What a good class.
And like they just made the change this patch, I think, that like Flare is now instant cast always sometimes. And it made it worse. It's like you want to use High Fire and High Blizzard 2 even less than before. And before it was like never. It's very funny.
what an enigma of a class Black Mage is.
So what do they do for this dungeon that like makes it good, like fun AoE multi-target ad stuff?
Talk about
Oh.
the dungeon?
Yeah, the new one.
We're
Yeah.
in the
They were
You
just
mean the
talking
Alliance
alliance raid that we're talking about?
Yeah, okay, sorry, the
Yeah.
alliance raid.
Okay.
Yeah.
we're talking about Goon Squad now.
To be honest, it's because like I call them ads because there's 5 of them. There's a
Yeah.
group of them, but they're essentially 5 mini bosses that work in tandem with each other, and that's kind of what makes it fun. Because at the start, not for the whole fight, but at the start of the fight, it does the Omega, the O12 thing, where specific people can only target one enemy, and then partway through the fight, you're able to hit all of them.
Yeah, I think after because what happens, it's like, yeah, so you get the first 3 nerds that are separated by alliance. So each alliance has a nerd. Then they go away. Then they give you 2 different nerds. Then they go through their mechanics, and then the 3 original nerds come back, and you do all 5 of their mechanics simultaneously.
It's a lot of nerds.
And I didn't play 11. I'm assuming all of these are like classes in FF11. I'm gonna make that
Yeah.
assumption.
I'm not entirely sure what the
There's like a Reaper girl, little guy, and then there's a Paladin adjacent.
So I guess all of these archangels used to just be fights. They were
Okay.
also classes,
Sure.
I think.
I famously have not played a mainline Final Fantasy game.
I also, well, no, I played 7 Rebirth. I played Rebirth. Does that count?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Then yeah, I played Rebirth. But Final Fantasy fans will tell me then I haven't really actually played a Final Fantasy. So
Yeah, no one likes those people.
Not even those
Oh,
people.
I
Damn.
don't like me neither.
Damn.
Same.
Man, I'm the blue mage apologist. I'm the mainline player. I'm taking heat from all angles.
Well, yeah, you're the diversity hire.
True.
You're the
True.
Lalafell blue
I'm the
mage.
Lalafell.
Oh my God.
Lalafell
Man.
blue mage Final Fantasy
Ooh.
mainline player. Like you're just here to check boxes.
Man, I'm the walking red flag.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
That's
you
crazy.
no. You're the we can talk about them because we have one.
Okay, man.
That's crazy.
All right.
I'm right.
Final boss then. Shadow Lord.
Shadow
Go ahead.
Lord.
Yeah,
Is that
Shadow
actually
Shadow
his name?
Lord.
Yes.
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 Shadow
Yes.
Lord.
Ultra Lord.
Ultra Lord.
That boss is sick.
Shadow Lord is actually
It is.
I'm trying to think about if it has any mechanics that
He's got the
Oh,
really neat
he has like a
arena modification.
he has a mini version, like a different. It's like the same principle of Savage Dog from Pandemonium, where it's like they knock you certain directions and you have to stand on the right side, and you get like knocked around the arena. Right? Dog does that, right?
I haven't played the Savage version of the fight, so I wouldn't know.
I did it with War Champ. I'm trying to remember.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I know. I think Dog does that. Where so he'll like be like you'll be like or it's like that the triangle thing from the Pandemonium Bird. Where you stay
Okay.
Or it,
That fight I remember vividly.
Or
but
what is
I've
it? Is it
repressed it.
yeah, or is it
That's a different problem.
Aglia? Is it or Thalea? Whichever one, the fire
yeah,
girl.
Aglaya. Yeah,
Aglaya also
Third
has
boss.
the triangle. Yeah, the third boss, the triangle. It's that, but instead it's a box.
Hmm.
And
Kind of.
and there's this dumbbell mechanic where it's like the AoEs are either going like the damage is either going like think about it being orbs in the corner with hallways in the middle as a square. That's kind of what we're talking about in terms of like the arena that she sets up. And then
The rooms or the hallway.
yeah, you're either in the room or you're in the hallway, depending on if the needles are going in or out. So you go titty or cleavage, basically.
And then about halfway through the fight, then you go halfway through the hallway.
Yeah, halfway through the hallway. Like it's like one of those like, and I think that's the kind of the thing that I really like about both of like when you play these fights, you're like, oh, these feel like fights that people should be doing at level 100. Like if that makes sense.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
You know what I mean by that, Viram?
Yeah, definitely. Because like, first time I went through that Alliance raid, I died on every fight.
Yeah,
Same.
Same. I've never felt better.
Mm.
I was like, man, this is so cool. I think the first time I ran it, my group wiped on we wiped on Prish.
Yes, we did. We wiped
we
on Shadow
wipe?
Lord.
We wiped on Shadow Lord.
We did not. We almost wiped on Fafnir.
And then we almost wiped on Guys.
We almost wiped on Guys.
I think we only wiped on Guys.
I've yet to wipe on Guys yet. Dudes have yet to win.
Yeah, I haven't.
I know sometimes you just get that tank who is just clueless, right?
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, you're not that tank.
That tank is. You know what's crazy about that fight in particular? That fight is actually a tank skill check.
Yeah,
Actually,
because it is so annoying when the little gremlin flies off to the corner and readies the guillotine move, right?
Right.
And the tanks are just in their own little world, hovering with the other bosses in some corner in God knows where.
Why is the floor purple?
Yeah, the whole rest of the alliance is standing in the safe zone, and you just got the tanks with all the other bosses killing the damage of everyone else.
No, I believe that they're gonna rescue.
Oh, true.
I was doing that today. Actually, we were doing it today, and I got rescued when I didn't need to. And I said, "Oh, you're ready to rescue me? Let's see how ready you are." And I just started doing it on purpose. I got rescued every time. I was like, "Oh, this is nice. This is optimal. I'm parsing right now."
Going back to the MSQ dungeon, I rezzed right before the donut in the arena mechanic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, do I make it? And the healer in that one did like a clutch rescue. I was like, get over here real quick. And I was like, oh, thank you so much.
Rescue is the funniest and best skill in the game.
I love it so much.
It's the funniest skill in the game.
It's like it's just the fact that the person who is rescued, like, they just slide along the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah, it's really
It's so inelegant, it's so ugly, and it's so good as a result.
It's so funny.
Actually, speaking of which, I just had I did my Alliance Raid Roulette. I had good old Labyrinth of the Ancients.
We
Our
got
tank
True.
in our alliance was decided to fight the wrong. You know the three demons
Yes.
and the bomb in the middle. They
Right.
decided to fight the wrong one, so I just dragged them across the arena to R1, and then they just got the message and started fighting R1.
See, not all heroes wear capes. So I mean, Pelu Pelus I think is a win. I think the alliance I think the alliance raid is clearly better than any alliance raid in Endwalker, and it's not
Yes.
close.
it's
Yes.
If I'm looking at this, I actually think it's probably the best alliance raid. Probably since Shadowbringers, right?
In
Like,
Shadowbringers, yeah.
yeah. Since Tower, like, it's so good. Like, if we were to do
collaboration
the tier
alliance
list
raids are kinda
again,
4-0 right now, huh?
you said what?
I said collaboration alliance raids are 4-0 right now, huh?
Yeah. If I was to do that tier list again, I would put that in queue for fun.
Yeah.
I would. I'd absolutely queue Juno for fun. If the
Um,
other two come remotely close, this is gonna be a really good series.
yeah. I'm actually still more excited for the normal raids because that's just more my aesthetic, but I'm very excited to see where that goes. I also like the fact that, you know what I'm saying? My boy, Will Cool Jow Jow out here having plot, man.
He's doing shit.
He's doing shit, man.
We got to spend his money.
We did get to spend his money. That was fun. So we got that done. I also kind of want to talk a little bit as well about some of the, because we haven't done it already, because I don't think we did when we did the preview. I don't think any of the patch notes were out yet, so we didn't know what they were changing about these jobs. So do we want to talk about job changes right now? Because
Oh, we could.
War Champ, we joked about it already about your second Ley-Lines, but how do you feel Black Mage is doing right now, man?
I gotta get my hands on it to see.
Uh-huh.
I think we talked about it on a past episode too, of just like I think it's an overall good change, but it's a funny change. You know, it's good and funny, so it's up there. You know.
Yeah, good and funny is where we want to be. I was telling Mike this while we were fighting. I forgot what we were doing with the dungeon they are. It feels to me like as I'm playing this game that they are making content and then when they're done, they're like, "Yo, this thing's sick." Then they remember that Black Mage exists. Like they forget that Black Mage is a class while they're making things, and then they remember afterwards, and they're like, "Fuck, we got to do something. Like we gotta make it so that they'll be able to play this content." Because we designed this class in 1984. Like, because some of these dungeons, you just like some of these bosses. I don't know how you could play Black Mage in some of these fights. I just don't know how.
Yeah, I'm not that big brain, man.
I think that's good though, but the problem is also that I feel like they're also adjusting Black Mage to not have Black Mage problems, and I don't want them to do that.
Yeah,
Like let Black Mage do a gabillion damage, but just don't care about them when you like design fights.
Yeah, because we were saying that before. Part of what makes job design interesting is when there's a bit of friction.
Yeah.
So that, very good players learn how to navigate the friction, and they become especially good with the job in ways that, the regular person isn't really able to.
Yeah. And I get it feels bad to be a black mage player and then like go into a fight where like, yeah, you're just getting screwed for the next like 8 minutes. Like, deal with it. And kind of happened with Ensinger Extreme, if I remember right. Like there was just a ton of movement in that fight, and it made it really awkward for black mage. But like I think that's how it should be, you know? Like I think that's what black mage should be, and I think they need to stop being afraid of having some jobs that are just harder. And I don't know.
I mean, I think you're right. I agree.
Tell new players at the start, like if they're gonna start Thaumaturge, like you're asking for trouble.
I don't think it's a crazy thing to put difficulties on things.
Yeah,
Be like thaumaturge, like difficulty.
like
You know,
literally give every like starting job a difficulty rating out of 5 stars.
Yes.
But every single one of them is like 1 or 2 stars, except Thaumaturge, which
Yeah,
is just like 5.
5.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like just make it clear that you're gonna have a rough time later playing this job, and that's okay, because that's what it's
Because
supposed to be.
that will entice some people to be like, well, this job could be that hard, and then they'll play it and they'll be like, holy shit, and then they'll be like, and they'll be learning how to, you know what I mean? Especially if like as they're doing this, they improved Hall of the Novice.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like the other thing too, it's like it feels like an insane thing to say, but I feel like black mage shouldn't be a starting job. I feel like a couple of them shouldn't be things you can start as. Because I started playing before they reworked a lot of the old Realm Reborn stuff, and before they streamlined a lot of the questing and stuff. But like playing through the game for the first time on Thaumaturge sucks ass.
oh yeah, we have a friend who did that.
It's
Yeah.
it's not a fun job to play first.
He switched to white
Mm.
mage.
I don't blame him. Like, I started the game and I stopped playing at one point. Like I got into 14 because I came back to it after the Shadowbringers trailer was bomb as hell. And it's because I started Thaumaturge, and it's not fun.
So you can start as warrior, paladin, pugilist.
Yeah,
Conjurer. Yeah,
pugilist, lancer. Technically, you have to get a job to level 10 to start with rogue, but rogue. Yeah, conjurer, archer, thaumaturge, and arcanist.
yeah, gladiator, marauder, pugilist, lancer, rogue, archer, thaumaturge, arcanist, conjurer. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a conversation a while ago on like the whole idea of like, unlocking certain jobs by leveling multiple other ones first.
Yeah.
And like I feel like they should do that. And just make those the harder jobs, They don't
So-
even have to necessarily be like stronger either. Like they can just like they can just be jobs that like have to work harder to do the same thing. Just have that expectation up front.
So okay, because there's obviously multiple. So it's like starter, tank. I think warrior is fine. Paladin is fine. Whatever. Starter, healer. I think all like scholar is fine. White mage is fine. We're really only talking about DPS here. So like the starter DPS for melee. What's the easiest melee? Like for like from a player.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the easiest melee for like newer players is probably is one of the two newer ones.
Yeah,
It's
I
either
agree.
Reaper or Viper.
I think it's Reaper.
But the problem is that job, like those jobs, don't teach you anything for too long.
Correct.
Yeah, because you're expected to know stuff because they started at a higher level.
Yeah.
You can't start on the job. That's what I
No.
mean. Like, I think Black Mage needs to be like that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like if you could move things around and fix that. Like I think because I don't think it's pugilist. Like I think monk is actually like the rotation for monk is actually not easy. Like you actually have to know which button you're hitting because you have to know which forms and which motes you need to do the thing you want.
Pre-Dawn Trail Monk was actually fairly like
Right.
You progressed and you learned pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like post Dawn Trail, I'm
I don't
sure
know.
there's people like, but I look at it and I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't
will
think
say-
it's rogue either. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think probably of the melees, like Lancer / Dragoon
Yeah.
is good for starting because it eases you into its skills at a good pace, while at the same time, feeling pretty complete by around level 70. Like the main draw of the job or the main kind of thing with Life of the Dragon is established at 70.
Just
The
move the
monk is
just
kind
move
of
the AoE
interesting.
back. Just move the AoE back to like level 30.
Yeah, yeah. That comes too late. But monk is interesting in the fact that you get perfect balance at 60. So like monk's whole thing is established at 60, and it's just kind of adding layers onto that for the next 40 levels. But
Yeah.
then, of course, as we mentioned before, with the later jobs, Reaper is not a job until 90. It's nothing. You don't get positionals on that job until 70.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Fuck.
But I think we are going on a little bit of a tangent. I believe we wanted to talk about how the jobs have changed in this patch.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, so I think the majority of them in terms of PvE have received kind of, small changes here and there. They increased Paladin's cover range, just quality of life here and there. In terms of the tanks, Dark Knight received a ton of potency buffs, and one of the big things is
Why?
that Dark Missionary is now also provides physical mitigation.
You also
as
get it
well as
10
magic
levels earlier,
mitigation.
right?
Yes, you also get it 10 levels earlier.
Fuck.
Dark Knight, in terms of high-end content, was the weakest tank.
That's true.
So them continuing to buff it does make sense. But I think the interesting one, of course, and you gotta talk to us about this, Tito, of course, is Gunbreaker.
Yes, sir!
Gunbreaker, the big thing with Gunbreaker, of course, double downs cartridge cost being reduced from 2 to 1. Of course, there's more beyond that, but I would say that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that affects the overall feel and fluidity of the job?
You know what's crazy about this? I was
Mhm.
talking about Mike about this. It actually fucks up like gear. Because now,
Really?
yeah, because the reason is now you don't have so I'm not at maxed out. So I'm at like 715 or something like that. Like I'm pretty high end, right?
Mm.
So the reason why this matters in the rotation of Gunbreaker, which is probably the highest DPS tank in the game, or like, and so like because it's the most button heavy, like it has the most buttons, and the rotation of over the course of the entirety of the fight, Gunbreaker's rotation matters more than any other tank. Obviously, the opener with Dark Knight is way crazier, but like over the course of the fight,
Wow.
I'm basically doing more. I'm hitting more buttons. I just am.
Well, the opener for Dark Knight isn't really that crazy anymore. It got toned down a lot
Yeah.
going from Endwalker to Dawn Trail. They press a lot less than they used to.
Yeah. Is that because of the not blood spiller, the thing that lets them do the flippy things?
Well, they combined Delirium and Blood Weapon
Yeah.
into one button, and of course they don't have Plunge anymore.
Right. Oh, they don't have plunge anymore. I forgot.
Yeah, they replaced it with a Shadow Step.
But so changing the DPS rotation of a tank is really, really important. Especially a tank that like does the most damage. Like, so normally what you would do is you're trying to get everything in your kits that involve cartridges to work within your no mercy window. Like,
Yes.
so, but the problem now is that so normally what you would do is that activate no mercy, you would hit an OGCD, you would then hit the dot that comes after no mercy, hit a OGCD. It doesn't matter. That order doesn't really matter. There's more preference. Then you would go into the gnashing combo. That's fine, and hit your OGCDs as you go. Then you would hit double down. So you could either hit double down before or after. It really doesn't matter. That ordering doesn't actually matter because what's your problem? You should be able to hit all of that within the same window. Then you hit Bloodfest to get all your cartridges back because double down costs 2, your gnashing combo costs 1, and then you would go back and then you would do if you were doing single target, you would hit the big level 100 skills because those are big dick damage. Then you would be able to get all of that within your no mercy window. And then if you were like geared out, you could hit like a couple more big booms. Now, because it costs 1 as opposed to 2, you actually are losing. You actually have to make a choice unless you're fully geared out between hitting one more, like using that third cartridge or just bloodfesting early. and losing a cartridge because the Bloodfest window is not long enough. Like you have more cartridges now. You have basically one extra cartridge. So because of
I see
that,
what you mean.
you see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So because like you have one extra cartridge, but you're still within the same window, you actually have to have more skill speed. Otherwise, you'll be really suboptimal in the way that you'll basically waste a cartridge, or your No Mercy will end by the time your third ability of your Bloodfest goes out. So like basic like 730 will fix that eventually, but it feels good. It doesn't feel good right now, actually, to be honest. I just lied because I just look at that third cartridge and I'm sad because my gear isn't good enough, but it will feel good. Gunbreaker's fun, man. It's a lot of buttons.
Yeah. For me, it was like I don't main Gunbreaker. I've played it to 100. So I mean I enjoy the job. I've been dabbling with it and leveling it to 100. Doing the last push for the job, in 7.1, I found myself really enjoying the feel of just Double Down's cartridge being down, just because it felt like I could press Gnashing Fan combo, Burst Strike, and Double Down all within the kind of the same opening sequence, even if they weren't necessarily all under the No Mercy window. Just being able to press all those buttons in sequence felt nice to me.
Very good. Very fun.
But yeah, that's just a very kind of surface level take of it from someone who dabbles.
Feels good. I mean, you're right on. I mean, it feels good, plays good.
Now you know what doesn't feel good?
Oh no.
Them taking the fucking Nastrons away, bro.
No.
Them taking the Nastrons away. So, for those of you who don't know, for Dragoon, they changed how Gis Gogol works. Gis Gogol is the beam, the kind of laser move that they do, which gets them into Life of the Dragon. Nastron, the follow-up projectile that you use in Life of the Dragon, has had its count reduced from 3 to 1. You used to be able to use 3 charges of Nastron. Now you can only use 1. They've, as a result, buffed the potency of Nastron. Well, they've doubled it, and they increased the potency of a bunch of other things as well. Basically, what this means now is that Dragoon's bursts, its 1 and 2 minutes, have notably less buttons in them, which is kind of sad just for the overall feel of the job. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. You know, you're still double weaving a lot of the job anyway, but managing the positions of like where you want to place your Nastrons relative to like life surges, when you're going to press Stardiver so that you can align it well with other things and make sure that you have everything else within your burst window, was very fun. Now that's just like easier, but the overall feel of the job isn't really that much different.
I can't tell sometimes whether or not they want jobs to be good or not.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, in terms of like firepower, Dragoon is technically a little bit stronger just because it lost, like during 2 minutes, it lost 720 potency from the Nastron changes, but it gained like 750 back from all of the other potency increases. And the 1 minute is a pretty substantial buff because they increase Mirage Dive's potency a lot. So the job is technically dealing more damage, but yeah. And we have a better disengagement tool now in Enhanced Piercing Talon. We got the thing that Samurai and Reaper got, where when we use our dash, in this case our backflip,
Right.
it enhances our projectile, which is nice.
I'm excited.
Ninjas
Ring
also
Twitter.
got a very nice change, in that Tenchi Jin, which was, originally ninjas are very kind of mobile job, but Tenchi Jin was a particular skill that locked ninjas in place. You couldn't move during the duration of Tenchi Jin, otherwise you would break it and you'd lose a fuck ton of potency. Now you can move under the effect of Tenchi Jin, which definitely helps in terms of the job fluidity. I know one of my best friends, he mains ninja, and it's always been kind of like a pain point for him that he'd be screwed over at certain points in fights, having to manage when to use Tenchi Jin, or well, you can't even really manage when to use it. Like just certain mechanics are happening during Tenchi Jin, just messing up how he tackles mechanics because Ninja has a very kind of rigid 2 minutes and 1 minute rotation.
Yeah.
I got to that part of Ninja's leveling just after 7.1 dropped, and I couldn't imagine being bound in place while using that skill.
Yeah, because you're bound, you're stuck in place. You're not allowed to move for quite some time because you have to execute 3 consecutive GCDs just
Mhm.
in place.
Yeah, I was looking through the notes while we were while we were discussing all this, and I saw that one specifically, and I was like, "No way. That's that's a really good change because that would suck otherwise."
Hmm.
Yeah, I can. Mm-mm, I could not.
Beyond that, I think for most of the DPS, it's a lot of kind of potency boosts and adjustments, bringing I think a lot of the DPS closer, a little bit closer to what Picto is. Obviously, I'm sure you're enjoying the little boosts that Machinist got, Mike.
Unironic
Yeah,
flamethrower.
yeah, unironic flamethrower.
Still not good.
It's not, but I use it sometimes. I have it. Might as well. You gave me a 20 potency increase
And a
and
4 yam range
and a
increase.
4 yard
Holy
range increase.
fuck!
Yeah, they said here more fire for fire now. Yeah, it feels fine. It's it's the same job,
Do you think
but
that any of these buffs will change ultimates when they come out? Because I think you're still gonna see a dancer, a bard, a samurai, and like I don't know, probably a
Would you
picto.
would you see a would you see a dancer and a bard? Wouldn't you opt for? I
I think
mean,
you see one or the other.
yeah, because usually it's like double melee, one caster, one fizz
Oh,
range,
I guess you're right.
or like if you're running Picto, because Picto is broken in
Yeah,
most ultimates, it's like you might run double caster.
yeah. I think they would run double caster. So if they're running double caster, I guess it would be bard, double caster, samurai.
Yeah, samurai. It depends on the ultimate. Samurai, dragoon is very good. I think at like 80, so it's very good for T. Um,
Oh, true.
yeah,
Then
makes
healers will
me
probably be probably sage, and
healers. You can just kind of,
pick
as long
whatever.
as you got one barrier healer and one
Yeah.
regen healer, you're
I
fine.
think I think I think one of the tanks will be a gunbreaker though.
Probably, yeah.
I think it'll be like gun. I think it'll be like gunbreaker warrior.
Oh, speaking of healers, they all received an interesting little change in that Asuna has been made instant cast now.
Ugh.
People will
Yeah.
still not put that on their
People will
bar.
still not use it.
That yeah, I don't know why. They should.
They they should.
Because sometimes you're going through lunar subterrane, and
Okay. All
you
right.
got a new player,
Uh
got
huh.
a new player on that first
Uh
boss,
huh.
and they get clipped by one of the mechanics, and you see the cleansable doom, and I'm chilling, I'm on tank, holding it down, just going through the dungeon, and I see our healer, and I'm looking at the DPS, I'm looking at their health bar, and I see the doom, and the countdown on that doom is just ticking, it's just ticking down, and it hits 0, and they die. And I'm just staring at a corpse on the ground while I'm swinging. I'm like, okay, yeah, that happened.
Jesus.
It's even funnier when said person is the healer themselves.
Oh no.
That does make it really funny.
Because now, especially if I'm on a self-sufficient tank, like, well, basically any of them in Endwalker, but pretty much any of them except Dark Knight,
Yeah.
especially if I'm on like Warrior, where or even Paladin, where it's like, well, I'm constantly just self-healing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not waiting for the healer. I'm just gonna keep fighting.
Yeah, just keep fighting. Yeah, fuck it. What are you guys excited most for left in the patch? We have the ultimate. We have, I think Mike's favorite answer, the chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
We all want that though.
yeah, I think we all want that. I think the answer is the
We're all
chaotic.
ready for that.
I think the answer is the chaotic. How many people? I'm gonna try to get an 8-man day 1 or day 2 for it, and I'll record it and we'll put it up on the YouTube. What a Merry Christmas.
I'll probably go with my static and then a few of my friends as well.
Yeah, it just seems like a fun time. But yeah, I think for us a pretty short episode this week. Because most of us are playing 7.1. There's one other thing I did want to talk about real quick is as of today, at the time of recording, they announced the release of Final Fantasy 14 online mobile.
Thanks for listening. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, everybody. Bye.
It's a good time to share that tweet in the chat for the guy.
Yeah. What's
I
the
mean,
problem, Workshop? You don't want to play?
I'm sure it'll be neat. There's a lot of people that seem to believe that there was ever a chance that this was like cross-platform, whatever.
Okay.
No, this is a completely different game. This is probably going to be a very cool way to like relive or replay like the original A Realm Reborn story.
Yeah.
You know, it's been cleaned up a bunch for actual 14, but I think kind of taking that story, and you know, now 10 years later, and being able to give it a little bit of time to cook and plan it properly will be a good thing.
My favorite tweet so far is Static 5 out of 8 looking for 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 DPS. Must have iOS 18 or higher. Android users need to have at least a Samsung S23.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Phone Destroyer.
Phone destroyer. It's gonna burn batteries.
It yeah, it is.
This. Well, what we're gonna do, by the way, everybody, we're gonna be trying. We didn't get that many entries for our glamour contest. It's probably because we kind of missed Halloween. That's our fault. What we will be doing here is our first glamour duty, and we're gonna be doing them by role. So, I'll say, a war champ. What role, tank, healer, ranged, melee, or caster, would you like to see glamours of?
I think let's do tank first.
All right. We are going to post in this episode here, as well as all over the Twitter. Go ahead and post your tank glamours. And we'll do the same kind of rules. Make sure you have everything. Share with your friends. They'll get free stuff. And they'll also get access to free merch because we are dropping merch next year. So make sure you guys are around for that. But yes, go ahead and post your, use the link below. Show us, share with us your glamour for your tanks. I'll tell you right now, Mike is a pirate.
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh, fuck. I've been lied to. Well,
I changed it. I changed it literally today.
it's over. All right, well, I'm a liar.
You got mixed.
I'm a liar and I got mixed. Goodbye, everybody.